Yeah. Well, our first customer that really got us into the space came to us 9 months before they actually started manufacturing their product. They wanted to, test it in the market. Like, it was somewhat of a complex product. It's sold in the flooring space for people that, contractors that do, installers that do flooring, right? As a way for them to get off their knees, yet make sure that they can polish and buff very effectively. And so obviously that's kind of complex, and there's a lot of other use cases for it too. But he needed a good way to be able to demonstrate that so he could start bringing it to distributors, which he's done, opening up a program of over 3,600 different distributors in the U.S.
Got it. Awesome, man. Well, I don't want to push you too fast, but can we see this sucker in action?
Yeah, sure. I'll show it here. Love to. And you got to see a sneak peek of the DeLorean demo that we just. I hope we have some like Back to the Future fans.
Absolutely, that was pretty cool.
But I'll demonstrate it here. But I also would encourage anybody to go to find us on LinkedIn. You can also find this on our website at 3mera.com. It's up in the tabs on demos. It kind of gives you a whole view of the OEM experience, where we can actually do full animations just like they would in movies, right?
Very cool.
From your CAD file. The other really big feature here is the parts view, so that we can essentially segment the different parts for somebody to be able to easily go in and click on. Let's say we need a new fusion reactor, right? So now we can click on that and go ahead and order our fusion reactor, or make sure we got the proper specs, or any questions that we might have. We can upload all of that additional content to make sure that we're time traveling safely, in this case. So we got different features like that, size views. This button here does augmented reality. So if you are on your mobile device, there you go. You got a QR code you can scan and be able to put this right there in your driveway. Check it out.
That's cool.
A bunch of different features like this. And again, we're pulling essentially normally a step file. Starting with the step file and envelope, IP is protected. You don't have to worry about that. Pull that into our platform, which is our self-serve is going live at the beginning of the year. So I can demonstrate that at some point, or you can check it out yourself. But pulls it in there, and as a marketer, you have all the tools you need to adjust the product details or attach different parts to your product to make those reordering capabilities really smooth for your customers.
Wow, that's really cool. So I'm a marketing team. At a major OEM, and I contact you, Schuyler, and say, hey, we've got these complex parts. I really would love to use this. So they give you their CAD drawings. You create all of this on your own, or does the software do that instantaneously?
So right now it's a semi-manual process. We're treating this really as a service to make sure that our customers are super happy at the end, and we're building features right now. But all those features go into the platform so that their teams can start doing this themselves as well.
Very cool.
So kind of like this semi process right now until we make sure that everybody's happy on using it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and just to be more specific about the OEMs, it's not just car machinery manufacturers. Let's think CNC manufacturers, big machines where your customer has to travel to your facility to check it out, because you can't go send them to one of their competitors to check out your machines, right? They can see that, visualize that in their own space at high fidelity, right?
Got it.
Be able to order those parts afterwards, so it can be used in distribution if you have like a show floor that you're having to work through with distributors, different aspects like that. So yes, all different types of OEMs.
Wow. That's really neat, man. I mean, this may be one of the shorter episodes that we have, but this is a really cool solution that you guys have here. And I've worked for a number of organizations. I've worked in distribution. I've worked for OEMs, and this level of detail hasn't really existed on websites before. Yeah. And so I think this is a really neat solution for complex cutting tools for
let's call it Industry 4.0, right?
Yeah.
And that's where we're going. And what we found is manufacturers have the assets they need already to leapfrog this old e-commerce of images and videos, right?
Mm-hmm.
Manufacturing, like it's coming back, it's going forward. Let's say blockchain, they call that Web 3.0, right? We got Industry 4.0 already, right?
Yeah.
Like we're ready to do this thing. And, this is just another method of what that digital transition looks like.
Yep.
Right?
And we're already talking about Industry 5, right? Industry 5 is the interaction of the technology and humans, and
Yeah.
that's the Industry 5, and this
Yeah.
is kind of bringing that forward. So that's pretty neat, man.
Yeah. And what I will say, just like I was talking about these standards groups that are forming between Google, Microsoft, Facebook, or Meta,
Yeah.
all the big companies out there using the internet. You've seen manufacturers like IKEA, for instance, a big multinational, multi-branded corporation. They've spent the last 20 years investing in digitizing, 3D rendering all of their products, because the cost of taking a couch and a chair and a lamp and a this and that, getting that to a studio,
Yep.
right? Managing the photographers, the videographers, the models, the markups, and then having to throw that away basically because you can't get it back to
Right.
retail, right? Unbearable for the scale that they wanted to go 20 years ago. So they've been investing in it, and from what I've understood, past 10 years, they haven't taken a single product photo or product video.
Wow.
So everything you see on their website or in their app, showing your space, or even in print media is 100% rendered.
Wow. That's pretty interesting.
That's an example of the scale of cost savings and sales enablement that you have there.
Yeah. Schuyler, why did you choose the DeLorean from Back to the Future 2?
So one of my co-founders, he's like, this is like, we are going back to the future, and we were bringing futuristic stuff to manufacturing, right? And being a child of the 80s, right?
Right.
This was it, right? For myself, I think it just, the team was excited to get behind it, right? We could really show something that, is like old becoming futuristic, or
Sure.
some legacy becoming futuristic, right? I just thought it was such a great storyline, and of course, we all love the movies.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, and maybe it's because I'm that older millennial, younger Gen Xer, right? That where I think of the DeLorean, I go to the original movie, and this is really that too. And with the Mr. Fusion and all of that, where they're flying, and that wasn't part of the original, but I love it, man. I think it's really cool. I love what you guys have been able to do with your software here. I think it's super it's a novel solution, and it captures an issue that a lot of those OEMs and manufacturers themselves, right? I mean, there are a lot of manufacturers out there, small to medium sized job shops, that are manufacturing complex parts for their customers, and to be able to show those customers based on CAD drawings exactly what it's going to look like in the long run, it will be an important feature for them. So well done, man. This is pretty cool.
Hey, thank you so much.
What kind of you told us, I think, tell us again, where can people find you?
Yeah, simple. 3mera.com. Number 3, MERA, like America, 3 in the front. 3merica, you could say, right? That's where you can find us.
Awesome.
We're also on LinkedIn. Just companies 3mera. Easy to find, big green logo.
All right. And then last question I ask every guest. What haven't I asked you that you want to share with the audience?
Yeah. I guess what what do I see in manufacturing that I think is, what do I see in manufacturing, I guess? I come from very much a startup, innovative, background and culture, right? And, being in Colorado, we're stuck between, Silicon Valley and Chicago, you could say, right? And, what I've noticed is they're two very different cultures, but they're coming together, they're merging, like whether it's technology or manufacturing, it's all technology.
Sure.
Right? Whether it's soft or hard, with all the hard sciences out there and the hardware and all that stuff, right? And I'm really excited about that, because I think that creates more community within the manufacturing community. We have all these MEPs all over the place helping to create community. That's what I'm really excited about, like being a part of, where we have all this technology at our hands, and I think we can really help America's U.S. industry really, come back onshore, become more advanced, like outcompete our global competitors. That's what I'm really excited about, and seeing these communities really come together and help each other. And part of that being CMMC. Let's talk more about CMMC, because what is more natural to a software technology company. We can help, right? We can help with
Wow.
those type of things.
Yeah.
Right? And so we want to give back and help manufacturing community really revolutionize the U.S.
Love it, man.